The elves complete the renovation of Hiraku's house, just as they said they would, and this gets him excited. However, he had done a lot of extra work during the building of the house, and had a feeling the house would turn out like that. However, he never expected it to be as good as what he saw. While staring at the house, Lou informs him that she and Tia had helped with the design. Furthermore, Tia informs him that they had made sure the requests of the future residents were granted while building the house. This makes Hiraku wonder what this request is, since he is also a resident of the house. At that moment, Leah suggests that they embark on a tour of the house. Going in, Hiraku is thrilled with how large and similar it is to the elves' main hall. In reply, Leah informs him that it had been built that way to give everyone enough space to hang out. Moving further, Hiraku is led to his room, which he likes at first sight. After that, he is led to a spacious dining table situated across his room. With other spaces in the house, including a kitchen, a store with stoves, a cellar, and underground storage space for food and firewood, and private rooms for Lou and Tia. Seeing their rooms, the two are very pleased, especially since their previous place is now crowded by the elves. On the other hand, while the two admire their rooms, Hiraku sees a room locked with a bolt lock, and wonders what they could possibly have put in there since it had a lock. When he opens it, he sees a large bed meant for couples. Immediately, he closes the door and vows to pretend not to have seen it. After the tour, Lou and Tia seemed very excited about the new house. About to leave, Hiraku sees a large tree beside the house, and he states that it seems like the tree is watching over them. This makes him believe that the house is a really great house. This Leah finds as a compliment. Before she leaves, she tells him to inform her about any part of the house he finds inconvenient during their stay, especially since winter is coming. If there is a need, she promises to fix it immediately. Shortly after, Hiraku places statues of his dogs at the entrance of the house. To him, this makes the house more in good shape than it already was. After the amount of stress they had experienced that day, Lou and Tia were hungry and went to ask Hiraku about what they had been eating that day. In response, Hiraku states that he wishes to make a dish they haven't tried before. He says it is something new called curry. Hearing the name of the dish, Tia acknowledged that she had never heard of it before. However, the fact that he claims he's trying to make it makes them wonder just how difficult the dish is to make. Even though Hiraku admits that mastering the dish takes a lot of work, he states that it can be easy to make. To get the ingredients for making the curry, Hiraku shows them a crop field he had planted a while ago. Seeing it, Lou and Tia are impressed with him. Just then, he stated that he had been working at it little by little. Looking closely, the ladies do not seem to recognize any of the plants. Apparently, he had planted them using the almighty farming tools the elves had made. The tools allow him the chance to grow plants that are really sensitive to seasonal weather. That being said, Hiraku gets to harvesting the needed spices for the curry. To begin, he cuts some cumin. The cumin, however, seems like an already dried flower, but Hiraku makes them understand that all that is needed is the seed that gets left behind after it gets dried up. He states that this spice is most peculiar because of curry's smell. Next, he harvests some turmeric, the main ingredient which gives curry its color. This plant has a very large upper part, but Hiraku states that they only care about the roots. However, they would have to dry it up first. To do so, he employs the services of Tia and Lou, who use their magic to hasten the process. After this, he harvests some coriander seeds, which would have to be ground before use. Next, they harvest some cilantro leaves, which seem to have a potent aroma. When he offers the leaves to the dogs to eat, they run away after smelling them. Seeing this, Tia and Lou are thrilled upon the realization that there is a plant capable of driving off infernal wolves. This discovery, they say, is worthy of research. To cap it all, they harvest some black pepper and cayenne peppers. After getting all the spices he needs, Hiraku turns around to discover that the girls have left him all alone. This makes him remember that he had heard about girls finding men who make their own curry, starting with the spices to be pains in the ass. He, however, wonders if that's true. With all the spices placed on the table, Hiraku is ready to make some curry. However, he is surprised to find just Leah there to help him. However, she informs him that they are busy with research on a supposed all-powerful magical protection talisman. This would definitely be associated with what they had seen earlier, which involved how the plant scared the infernal wolves away. while Hiraku has no idea what they are doing. He goes ahead with the cooking. Step by step, he and Leah prepare the meal, and he uses the opportunity to explain the entire process to her. While they cook, some elves and dogs are drawn by the smell of the spices and hang around, watching from a distance. With the curry now on fire, Hiraku has a feeling that something is missing. Thinking carefully, he remembers that he had put some naan on the fire earlier. However, they have now gotten burned. While he contemplates on either cooking something else or cooking some rice, he comes to the realization that naan goes better with curry. Just then, he decides to make some more naan. Together with Leah, they prepare the dough for naan. Meanwhile, Lu and Tia finally finish up their supposed research and are heading back when they perceive the smell of something appetizing. They, however, see some elves and dogs looking through the bushes at the origin of the appealing smell. This reminded Tia of how hungry she was. On the other hand, Hiraku and Leah are done with preparing the naan, and only wait a moment for the curry to be made. When the curry is ready, everyone is seated at the dining table, but are reluctant about trying this new meal, since it seems to have a strange color. As much as Hiraku tries to convince them with his words to try it out, they remain reluctant. Not until he tastes it himself and blurts out how nice it tastes. Just then, Lu and Tia follow and state how addicting the spices could turn out to be. This prompts the others to taste it, and they marvel at how unique it tastes. Without wasting much time, they all head to the pot to scoop some curry for themselves. When Hiraku sees them do this, he doesn't want the incident with the rice balls to repeat itself, and begs them to leave some for him. As part of their research, Lu and Tia offer the wolves some curry, but they run away after smelling it. This validates the belief that the plant works to repel wolves. After everyone has eaten, Hiraku is pleased that they all love it. On the other hand, they all ate their fill and hope to try it again sometime. Meanwhile, with winter drawing near, Hiraku makes plans for their survival. Since they would be spending most of their time in the house, he intends to finish up winter preparations before winter comes. Firstly, he makes sure they wouldn't lack firewood by storing a large quantity in the underground storage of the house. After that, he offers Zabuton some potatoes in exchange for extra blankets to keep them warm. Meanwhile, Leah and the elves get busy with other projects that will help them in the winter. On the other hand, Lee and Tia have been tasked with the preservation of food for the winter. They season the meat and smoke it, after which they dry it. Also, since the dogs won't be able to hunt in the winter, Hiraku makes sure they do so now to enable them to stock up as much meat as possible. On his part, Hiraku works on creating a means for them to preserve vegetables. Fortunately, he comes up with a box which can be used for the purpose. Apparently, the vegetable would be placed in it and covered in a sheet, which would then receive snow, giving off the required cold temperature the vegetables would need to survive. Meanwhile, watching the others use magic makes Hiraku wish once more that he could. This time, he tries it out and is disappointed at the obvious outcome. Even though he didn't expect anything different to happen, he felt that trying would probably give him a different outcome. Well, it didn't work. Later that night, he seeks Leah's guidance in learning magic. He claims to have always tried to replicate their actions, but didn't find it as easy as they made it seem. She, however, lets him know that they had always tried to replicate Tia's, whose magic is so powerful that she is able to summon golems. This, she claims, is something that not everyone with magic can do. While Hiraku finds her to be extraordinary, Leah feels bad that he doesn't consider her the same way. Noticing this, he commends Leah and the elves for their efforts around the settlement so far. Furthermore, he states that they have been more useful than him, who only spends his time planting flowers and doing menial jobs. In reply, she informs him that he is the most amazing one amongst them, because he has been surviving in this place alone for a long time. Hearing these words from Leah gives Hiraku the needed validation he seeks. Days after, winter arrives, and the snow began to fall. Since they are unable to leave the house, Hiraku crafts out some indoor games to keep themselves busy. First, he built a chest and mahjong set. Since they have no idea about how the game is played, Hiraku explains the details of the mahjong game to Lu and Tia. Hearing the rules, Lu thinks it's so simple and will be no fun. However, Tia thinks otherwise, and the two are forced to challenge themselves. While they play, it is obvious that Tia will win the game, and since Lu doesn't intend to lose squarely, she flips the board claiming her hand flipped. Shockingly, Tia resets the game with her magic, giving Lu no excuse but to face her loss squarely. In another room, Kuro teaches an elf how to play the mahjong game, and this surprises Hiraku. Also, two dogs spend their time playing the game of chess. Even though they seem cute, Hiraku is worried since he can sense a terrifying energy from them. He, however, resolves to not ever challenge them in a game. Just then, Lu challenges one of the dogs to a game and is utterly defeated. When they play a game of 4, Hiraku assumes he can get his revenge on Kuro by winning, but ends up being the sore loser. Furthermore, since playing board games might not be good for their health, Hiraku builds a mini bowling set. However, on his first shot, it seems like he's pretty good, as he brings down 8 figures with 2 left. Then on the second trial, he successfully brings the 2 down. After that, Lu tries it out and successfully brings 10 of the figures down in one try. Fortunately, it seems to be her first win so far, but not the same for Hiraku, who seems to have better luck creating the games than actually playing them. With days passing, they are all able to endure the winter and are met by the warm atmosphere that accompanies spring. When they wake up, Hiraku suggests that they plant some crops and get Zabuton to wake up from her hibernation. Shortly after, they hear a signal from afar, signifying the arrival of an unknown being. Running in that direction, Hiraku sees a large-looking monster approaching them, and assumes it's a dragon. On seeing it, Tia discovers that it is actually a wyvern. Hearing her say this, Lu cannot seem to believe it. Did you enjoy this recap? If you did, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel, so we can bring you the recap of the next episode. Until next time, do take care and stay safe.